Hey there. My name's James Scott. I work for a company called Thrive, Thryv. It's an end-to-end client experience platform and marketing. Basically, are the two components of it. Wraps up quite a lot of things, but that's actually not the focus of this video. My role with Thrive is effectively business development. It's finding new business clients and expanding what we do with the existing clients and kind of growing that book of business. Um, so a grind that's familiar to many who are in the business to business space. And so this video actually is about the strategy that I've developed effectively over the last 2 years, a step-by-step process uh, that aggressively meets that goal of business development. Acquiring clients, getting out there in the marketplace, making sales, building the brand. That allows it allows a rep to do that, or an organization, if they were to have all of their reps implement this strategy, um, in a much more efficient way than through cold calls. When I first started, I didn't have a big network. Cold calling was how I, endorsed wings. That was how I got business. I got some of my best clients that way. Um, but I found that, on balance, it takes me right around an hour to set one or two really solid feeling appointments. And that those appointments that I'd set through cold calling, hey, my name's James Scott. I'm with Thrive. I'm looked you up because you have X, Y, and Z issue. I'm calling to see if I can get an appointment, right? That's more or less my cold call lyric. And I found that I'm able to, that those appointments don't stick super well, especially when you're dealing with companies that are 1 to 30 employees in size. The owner's still very involved with the business. And I've just found 50% of those appointments, they no call, no show, or they end up canceling. So basically, this is a strategy where that's an alternative to that approach. So without further ado, I'm going to dive right in. So basically, this approach is built on networking. And there's an organization called BNI. I believe it stands for Business Networking International. That basically the meetings are, it's one type of business per seat in that group. So if you have 20 people, no two of them are really direct competitors per se. They meet every week. And the goal is to refer other people businesses. And there's a lot more that can kind of go into it. But weekly networking group built on referral, exclusive seat. A huge wrinkle that has really enabled this strategy is that BNI groups are now meeting on Zoom as opposed to in person. And I probably should have mentioned that Business Networking International, the BNI, has probably a couple thousand chapters worldwide. Just in the state of New Hampshire, where I live, there are 35 chapters, with anywhere between 9 members and 40, 50, 60 members. Massachusetts, there's probably well over 100. I'll actually use BNI Massachusetts as my example here. So let's dive right into the strategy. How am I able to settle these appointments and close business without having to use cold calling? So step one, you find a BNI chapter. All right. So if you Google BNI and then name that region, so I could just as easily type in BNI Florida or BNI New Hampshire. I'm gonna do BNI Massachusetts just because that's a market I'm looking to grow into personally. So when you Google BNI and then the region, you'll find that most of these regions, and they're not all the same, but you'll find that there's going to be something like find a chapter or find a meeting, right? And if you don't see it called out directly in the Google search, you can certainly click in to find it. Again, here it is on the region's main site. So when I click find a meeting, you'll notice that it pulls up a heat map overlaid on Google Maps that shows every active BNI chapter in that region. And you can see that there are quite a few in Massachusetts. 100 might have been a little bit of an exaggeration, but we're not too far off. So step one is we find a chapter to visit, right? And you're going to want to pick something with a geographical strategy in mind. Like, for example, say you had clients in Lawrence already, right? Or that's a place you're already doing business, or you already know some people. Easier to, it might be better to pick Lawrence than say, this place north of Woonsocket here in Rhode Island. Maybe we don't know anybody over here, right? So geography can play into how you qualify it. So at any rate, I'm just going to pick Lawrence. All right. And you can see that it kind of calls out the different chapters. If there's still more in a concentrated area, you can click in to reveal them. So when I click on a chapter, it'll show me where they meet in person, but you'll see that they will all say meeting online. You'll see when they meet, and you'll see there's a button here called chapter details. All right, so we click into it, and this group, apparently they have 19 members. I've actually never looked up this chapter before. So they have 19 members. Let's go ahead and see who all is in the group. Show members. All right. So what we're doing right now is we're trying to qualify whether this is a BNI chapter worth visiting. All right. So, for me in my business, I'm going to use what I'm doing as an example. I'm hoping, if there's at least 2 businesses in this group with whom I think I could have a mutually valuable one-on-one, one-to-one meeting with them, then that's a qualifier for me. So as long as there's at least 2 people, could either be, again, a potential client down the road, or somebody who I know I could provide value and referrals to, and whom I know is maybe interacting with a lot of my ideal clients. I use the expression the chickens for the business, right? The people that I have the potential to refer you repeat business. So at any rate, using my own business as an example here. Well, here we go. We have a health and wellness business. This could be a good fit. I like the insurance group, right? They're working with small businesses, sometimes I might Google one of them to qualify it, because again, digital marketing is kind of a piece of what I do. So I might be like, okay, so, insurance here. Okay. Looks like they're looking pretty strong, right? So I might not be able to help them with like free, with my expertise quite as well. And they've got a pretty nice site. So I might not be like calling these guys out as a definite, plus for me. So at any rate, point is I'm picking a couple of people to qualify the chapter. I do like a yoga studio. They are a good possible client. A lot of them, there's a lot of communications challenges around COVID-19 that I can provide them free help and guidance with. So at any rate, body and yoga, this law office, that could be good for me. A personal injury lawyer, that could be good for me. Bookkeeper could be good. Salon. So I'm already up to like 4 or 5 people. So this one, I might actually be visiting myself to set a few appointments. So at any rate, once you qualified the chapter, actually, I know these people from BNI. They're actually in a chapter up in New Hampshire. So we qualify the chapter, and that means, hey, if there's somebody who is a direct competitor, where it's not just overlap, but you guys are literally, they do exactly what you do. They're chasing the same clients. That might be a disqualifier for visiting the group. Again, these are exclusive seed organizations, so it's kind of a faux pas if you show up and start talking about something that somebody else would normally be talking about during the meeting. Like if a residential real estate agent showed up, I'm positive these guys have a realtor in the group right here. So they've got a commercial realtor. Here we go, residential real estate agent. So if I'm a realtor, I do residential and I just kind of show up and say, oh, I help buyers and sellers. Well, Joe Zingales and the other people in the group are going to be like, who is this person? And you'll kind of get off on the wrong foot. So at any rate, you're qualifying the chapter both by geography and who is in the group. Are there at least two people that I could have a mutually beneficial connection with? Next, you want to reach out to the people of perceived conflict. So for myself, websites are very much something that my company offers. I've helped many clients with their website, but it's not something I actually tend to advertise about what I do when I'm out networking. I really more focus on our software and our tools and just my own networking, background. So so a step one would be if I didn't already know these people. So after I've now qualified the group, now I pick the person who is the closest thing to a competitor for me, right? And I give them a quick cold call. I dial them up and I say, good morning. Is this Jen? Hey there, Jen. My name's James Scott. Now, if you weren't already in BNI as a member, it's not free to join, right? If you're not already a member of BNI, then your line goes something like this. Hey there, Jen. My name's James Scott. I'm just kind of getting out there and really starting to dive more into networking. And I came across BNI and I came across your guys' chapter. I'm kind of trying to figure out which one of these chapters is best for me to link up with. I would love to visit you guys, but it was important that I reach out to you first because I don't want to step on any toes. And then they'll reply, well, what do you do? Oh, well, thanks for asking. Yeah. So I sell a CRM for small businesses. But websites is a component of what we do, but I just wanted to make sure I give you my word that's really not a focus of my business, at least not when I'm out networking. And I certainly won't mention it in my 60-second. I'm not out here to steal your clients. But it was important to me that I reach out to you first and get your permission before I visited. Now you'll have an opportunity to get their blessing. In my experience, I have not had somebody say no yet to me visiting. And you'll have an opportunity to set up an appointment with them because perceived conflict could be opportunity. I know that our websites, if I had somebody who needed high-end changes done to their existing site, maybe that could be a referral for Cleverlight. Obviously, we're both meeting with businesses. They're probably not selling a CRM system. I actually know that they're not. So in other words, somebody who could have been a competitor might actually be a person of opportunity and is certainly worth connecting with. Obviously, if you're already in BNI, the lyric's a little bit different, although not too far off. It's, hey, Jen, my name's James Scott. I'm in a BNI chapter up in Newmarket, New Hampshire. Just kind of branching out and visiting other chapters to expand my network. Kind of looking to grow into Massachusetts a little bit. Came across you guys. Would love to visit, but I just wanted to reach out to you first to make sure I'm not stepping on any toes. And then it basically is like the first example. So recapping, step one, we pick a chapter to qualify. Okay, this isn't a geographic we're looking to expand to, or maybe we know people already, or we have clients we could reference in the area. Then we're saying, are there at least two people minimum that could be a good appointment for me for networking? Then we're reaching out to the conflict, whatever conflict there might be. So if, for example, say you're an insurance person who sold supplemental benefits and that was your niche, right? I don't see a supplemental benefit person in this group, but of course there is that insurance company from earlier, right? So if you were an insurance company, then your perceived conflict would be to call the insurance seat in the group and see if supplemental benefits are a big part of their business, right? Like maybe they already sell Aflac and there would be like, you know what, we actually do. That is a big piece. We do actually talk about it in our meeting. So anyway, find the chapter, qualify the chapter, reach out to the perceived conflict or the conflict in that group to ask for permission to visit, and make sure that you draw your lines or draw your lanes so you can stay in your lane. All right. And then next, after you've gotten the permission from the perceived conflict, you scroll up a little bit and here's the executive team: Jen Wentworth, James Corey, Deborah Crompton. So we pick these people and we want to start with the one that we'd most like to connect with. So residential mortgage, that's F for me. You know, we'll come back to them. Just as far as a referral, like I can't like sign up a residential person, although they are networking with a lot of other businesses. I mean, they're in a BNI, so that could still be worth having a one-to-one with. But we'll see. Jen Wentworth, she's literally the president of the group. Perfect. So maybe on that call, even I'm getting. Is there any chance you'd be willing to send me the invite for that meeting? And so at any rate, and then let's see who this last person is. Deborah Crompton. Personal injury. Okay. Well, considering I've already set an appointment with Jen Wentworth in this scenario, I would reach out to the personal injury lawyer. Here's their number, right? So obviously there is some element of cold call here, but it's just a very different ask. You're not trying to set an appointment, a sales call appointment with them or a discovery call per se. The ask is, I'm looking to visit your group and I'd love to set a one-to-one networking meeting with you, right? So a slight change of angle there. So I'd reach out to this person. I'd say, hey, my name's James Scott. It's basically the same lyrics. Hey, my name's James Scott. I'm looking to visit your came across your guys' BNI chapter. I'm looking to visit. But as a new visitor, I wasn't really sure, you know, I know I've visited another BNI chapter before, so I wasn't sure about the process or what you guys would prefer. So I figured I'd just reach out directly to you, make sure it's okay for me to visit, and if I could get the invite info or how to join you guys next Wednesday, pardon me. And then again, you have an opportunity to ask them for a one-to-one appointment. Hey, so while I have you here, I love to meet with businesses one-to-one. Do you do networking type meetings? And then maybe, you know, you could even say your compelling reason for why it would be valuable to have a one-to-one with you, right? From a networking standpoint, right? Well, I'm interacting with a lot of estate planning attorneys, but they don't really touch personal injury. So I think that I might be able to make some introductions from my Rolodex, so to speak, for that. So at any rate, step 1, we find the chapter. Step 2, we qualify the chapter. Step 3, we reach out to the perceived conflict and set a one-to-one and get their permission. We reach out to somebody on the executive team, set the one-to-one, get the invite. If you miss them, leave a voicemail and click this send a message button. It'll actually send them an email directly through BNI, and they will most certainly open it. Okay. So now we've set 2 appointments, and I know this has been a lot of talking for me, but we've set 2 appointments, and in actual real time, you've only invested 10 minutes at most, 5 minutes into this whole process, and you've already set 2 one-on-one business meetings, and have now an invitation to go visit this group with 19 other business owners and salespeople in it. And we're only 10 minutes into this thing. Um, Now, when you fast forward to the actual meeting itself, the meeting's on Zoom. It follows a very specific format. Everybody's given a 60-second opportunity. Depending on the size of the group, it might be as short as 30 seconds. If it's 60 people, it might be 30 seconds. But everybody is given an opportunity to speak about their business. Now, from qualifying the chapter earlier, you already know the people you're hoping to connect with. So after they deliver their 60 seconds in the meeting, you just direct message them in Zoom. Let's see if I wish I could show it in Zoom. But at any rate, I'm going to assume that you, the viewer, are familiar with how to direct message somebody on Zoom. So after their 60 seconds, you direct message them and say, "Hey, Joe, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed your 60 seconds. I'd actually love to connect for a one-to-one sometime in the next couple of weeks. Would Thursday 5:00 work, or whatever it is?" And you'll find the vast majority of the time they say yes, right? And you're able to book that appointment. And so, say you had 6 or 7 people on that list. Well, odds are good through that direct message approach, after their 60 seconds, you'll be able to set an appointment up with each of them. And if they don't reply, I found it generally is more a factor of either them being on the go or their comfort level with Zoom, and not that they're not interested in having a one-to-one. But generally, I found 80-90% of the people, they set that appointment and we're able to set it up in the chat. So when it finally gets around, everybody else has done their 60 seconds. Visitors go last. So for your 60 seconds, the question you're trying to answer is, why would I want to have a one-to-one with me? Why would they want to have a one-to-one with me? Answer that question. Like, you can certainly lean on your elevator pitch, 10 second, your 10-second, "Hey, I'm James Scott. I advise people about software and lead generation." Apologize, distractions here. So at any rate, and these meetings are generally 60 to 90 minutes long, right? So all in, between the meeting and the initial outreach attempts, you'll have set at least 2 one-to-ones for your hour, and these appointments will stick, right? Odds are good they're not going to cancel last second, or no call, no show you. Basically, that's part one of the strategy, is how to set a lot of these one-to-one appointments. And I guess I would say that the one final piece for this first part, the whole setting the appointments and visiting the chapter piece, is that if you're a member of BNI, which is anywhere between $799 a year and $1,100 a year, $1,200 a year, depending on the region, I think that you'll find you'll have a much higher success rate with this. And also, if you're in a vertical like real estate, where there's somebody in every group and it's an exclusive seat organization, well, if you're a member of BNI, you could still possibly be in a position to visit that chapter if you end up becoming a part of your region's ambassador program for BNI or director consultant program. Basically, those let you represent yourself as a BNI resource for networking strategy. So you're not really able to talk directly about your business, but you can use your business in case studies or examples to illustrate a BNI or networking point. And that is the pathways for even a real estate agent or a financial advisor, an insurance person, to be able to use this technique. So thank you so much for tuning in for part one here on the how to set a boatload of these appointments. I found it so productive for me that I really can't do more than 1 or 2 of these a week. And very quickly, my calendar would get so full that I have to put it on hold and wait another couple weeks before I visit. So tune in for part 2 to see how, okay, now we have all these networking appointments, right? How do we actually turn that into mutual value and, obviously for us business development folks, close business? Because we came into this, what we're doing, to make money, make commission, sign people up. So how do you do that in these one-to-one meetings? Tune in for part 2, and I'm excited to share that with you. Thanks so much.